Hey guys, so I'm not on here for a beauty contest. I'm here to talk about what's happened with me. I just posted a video yesterday, but um, I had something really awful happen after the video and a little bit before too. Um, so I'm in the middle of a court case with social services, and I'm not going to specify where and what the circumstances are per se, except for the supervisor guessed that there was domestic violence, and I told her yes. And I started to tell her some of the things that occurred. They never fully investigated. I was court ordered for domestic violence classes or therapy and parenting classes as well. Well, the perpetrator, quote unquote, and I use that, the technical perpetrator, was not investigated and was just recently in March taken off all of the paperwork. He's getting away scot-free. So I also have a private civil case for child custody. This man is an illegal alien. The minor child is 7 years old. She doesn't speak a secondary language. And for me, this is hard because I know she loves her dad, but she has no idea of the dangers that she could possibly and potentially be in, both culturally and if she was taken out of the country, because he can't leave with her legally. He's not even on the birth certificate. So my anxiety is sky high. It won't go away. And because it's like that, and I don't go into a full-blown panic attack, I'm verbally aggressive with my husband right now, and I don't mean to be. It's little things that can set me off. Some of it's controllable, some of it isn't. And I talked to you in the last video about getting on medication to kind of help with some of these symptoms, and that's why. So I started a medication yesterday after talking with my doctor 2 days ago to kind of help calm everything down and reset stuff. I probably won't start seeing effects for about a week to 2 weeks. I might see small things, but nothing significant enough that it will be beneficial right away. At first, I couldn't even control the panic attacks. I would go into a full-blown one, hyperventilation, palms sweating, the crying, the anger, all of my emotions all at once, despair. It's not like that at this point in time. I get the tightness in the chest. It feels like an elephant sitting on there. Sometimes it's like a tingly feeling going down my arm or in my hands. My stomach gets tied up in knots, and my head starts spinning. And I don't mean that literally, and what I mean by that is my thoughts are going in a loophole. And it's a never-ending loop. It's like the hamster is in a ball and just keeps going and going and going. Now, with counseling, you learn grounding techniques, and I'm not going to go into them because each person is different. And when you go into counseling, each person's domestic violence counseling is tailored to that person. Okay, and it isn't. I cannot medically advise you on that. It's unethical. In other words, it's inappropriate. It's wrong. I'm not a doctor, and it's inappropriate. So what I can do is I can tell you what I'm doing. She's talked to me about doing things like Roy G. Biv, picking colors out of a room to kind of focus on the same space I'm in. It's not as easy as it sounds. It's really difficult. I've used the 5-4-3-2-1 method, but I've used it for so long it has become virtually ineffective. I have prompts that she gives me on a weekly basis to write about things, about my emotions and my feelings and my thoughts and stuff like that, where I'm standing. And yes, I can do that. And I try to only do them when I'm in high stress situations, because that's when you're going to get the most truthful answer, because your fight or flight is kicked in, your anxiety is the highest, and that's what she needs to see. And regardless of whether I'm doing Zoom or not, I read at least one or two of them to her. And if I only do one because it's the worst one of the day of the week, that's what I do for her. I don't skip on doing these. I do it because if I don't do this, it doesn't help me. I'm sitting on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, like full-blown panic attack, where I'm hyperventilating, and 1 being where I'm not having one. I'm probably sitting at a 4 to 5 on a consistently right now. And that's not good. It's not good for your heart. It's not good for your brain because of the chemicals that it produces. And I spoke about that in the last video. But this also puts a strain on whatever other relationships are around you. So be mindful of that. And they're going to understand to a point, but please help them understand that this is not this is not permanent. You just need someone to vent to that you feel safe with. And you can't always do it with your therapist. I'm trying to think. She gave me some books too to read. And they're not huge. I'm not talking like, the size of like the Book of Aragon kind of things. We're talking like 1/4 of an inch thick, and the font's a little bit bigger. But there's chapters you can go in and pick and choose from, because it's not like it's a storybook. These are teaching books. They're self-help books. So you can go in, pick a chapter that would help you at that time. And it's not going to take you but like 10 minutes to go read this chapter, because it's what you need at the time. So I would highly suggest finding a counselor who would give you these kind of books. So a lot of times you can sign up for a library that's digital and see if it's digitized. And if it's not, contact your local library and see if they can get a copy that is digitized. Or if not, ask your counselor to send you copies of that book so that you can understand that particular chapter that she needs you to understand. Now, part of what she's doing is based off the way I learn, too. I learn all 3 ways, but I also like to read. Reading is a calming thing for me, and so what she's having me do is read. I like to write. I used to write poetry a long time ago, and I can still do it. I just don't do it as avidly as before. I'm up really early right now. I have emergency medication for anxiety, and I took it last night. It hit so hard, I thought it was high. That's how bad it was last night. My husband had to pull me out of a grocery store after getting 3 items, and he said, "We're leaving." And there wasn't a whole lot of people there, and I have no clue what triggered it. I came home and cried. But it's my truth. I have no clue what it could have been. And he wanted to look at so much stuff, and I just couldn't do it. My anxiety kept just getting revved higher and higher and higher. And I have no idea why. I have no clue. And he kept trying to ask questions, and I couldn't think straight. These are the realities of what happens after a domestic, after you leave, and what you're facing when you do leave. But this is the reality if you stay. Okay? If you stay, the abuse will continue. If you stay, the possibility of death, of imminent death, is 95% higher than if you leave. You have a better chance when you leave than if you stay. I've had a gun held to my face. I could have died one night and I continued to stay. You have to make a choice. And if you have children, if there's little ones involved, I don't care if it's just one. If you have kids, you have got to make that choice of whether or not you want to stay, and make and break the chains and make it better for them, or are you going to leave, get them help, get you help, and make a new plan? Because you don't have to, as men and women individually, okay, yes, it's nice to have a partner. Yes, it's nice to have, the whole kit and caboodle. But I'm going to tell you something. You as a woman are empowered enough to raise them kids by yourself. You as a man are empowered enough to raise them kids by yourself. You as a woman are empowered enough to live alone. You as a man are empowered enough to live alone. I don't care if you have a roommate. I don't care if you have, whether you're a man or a woman. I don't care if it's a college student. That college student needs help. And that college student might be more understanding than you think. Yes, it's embarrassing. Yes, it's scary. But the other thing too is they're not going to sit there and they're not going to harm you like these other people probably. They might even try to hide you. Or help hide you, because nobody would suspect. All I'm saying is, get away. If you are physically assaulted and you are beat to hell and back, go get your kids and walk into a police station. They are obligated to hide you because you cannot return to the residence. It is a fact. I hope that you guys that are watching this, even though it's only a few of you, start realizing these are truths. These aren't just whims of stuff. This is hard to do. I had to make a conscious decision. I'm up at 7:30 in the morning in the state of Alaska. I moved here for counseling because they have some of the best domestic violence counselors in the United States. And I'm so glad I did. I was violated by my own counselor 6 months ago in another state. I told my counselor here what happened, and the look of horror that washed over her face was astronomical. She will not give out my information, period. She will have to have a court order, a subpoena for it. That's how far it goes. That's how far she is going to protect my information. Because I have the right as a patient. And she won't even talk to them. Which I think is fantastic. Because that's how it was violated the last time. And yeah, I reported her to the supervisor. And I don't think anything happened because of a few things. And I'm not going to go into them because it's inappropriate. But the fact of the matter is that they did. I just hope that you guys never have to experience that. And I hope you guys decide you want help. That's why I make these. To show you that there's hope. It's hard and it's there. There's not despair at the end of the tunnel. There's hope. It's a rough road, but it's there. And I've reconnected and made friends for the first time in 10 years. I have friends for the first time in 10 years. I can't tell you what an amazing feeling that's like. I have connected with women for the first time in 10 years. Like, really connected with them, and it's nice. So, until next time.